Good afternoon. Welcome to Vonvo. It's April 27th, and today we're here to discuss gay rights. I will be recording the conversation. Is that okay with the both of you?
Yes.
Okay, great. And before we get started, just a couple ground rules. At Vonvo, we try and keep the conversations as respectful and valuable as possible. So just be nice to one another, value each other's opinions, and we'll go from there. So to start, Joanna, why don't you just give us a background of yourself, and then Vicky, you can do the same.
Well, I have been involved in the queer community since I was probably around 16 years old. I'm 23 now. I live on Long Island, and I've been going to protests and dating since since I was 16. So I've been pretty active.
Okay, great. Vicky?
I work with youth. I'm a youth development specialist, and I've been doing so for 6 years. I've got a family member who is transgender, and I have grown up around that environment, and I just have such a passion for working with gay youth. So, yeah.
All right, very
and
cool.
gay rights, I have a strong passion. So, yeah.
Right, very cool, very cool. So I personally don't have a agenda for today. I was telling Joanna that before. So whatever you guys want to speak about, we're open for discussion. Anything in the news, current events.
You don't have an agenda. You got to get on it. You got to get onto your job. You need to have notes and like have a little notebook and be like, "This is the agenda." Very professional and wordy. I'm kidding. I'm totally. There you go. Just break it out. Yeah, I've got an agenda. Sure. Now I'm gonna write it down now.
Interesting. I just found something. I actually just Googled gay, and apparently USA Today they have an article that says conservative effort underway in push for gay marriage. And so apparently, American Unity PAC, a national group of prominent GOP donors, has spent $500,000 since last month lobbying in support of gay marriage.
That's awesome. I know. I was born in Rhode Island, so I was very happy, and I couldn't my happiness at work because I also work in the school system. But I saw that like we got Rhode Island, and I was like, yes. And people were like, yeah, yay, it's Friday. No, but we got Rhode Island, hey. So then one step closer. I was very pleased that it was actually a simple process. So equality in Rhode Island now, yay.
Yeah, work actually did it. I was at my friend's house. I brought my laptop over and I was watching C-SPAN and I was crying. And they finally got it.
Yes.
Because there were more conservative votes than I thought that they were going to be. So I was like, the tears run down.
But can you imagine California passed and it was like, oh my gosh, yay, we got California, and there was like, second that, no. So then it's like yay, and then everyone trying to get married and everything, and then it's like, yeah. What I envision is just equal rights all over. Hopefully it will happen. Because, I mean, again, there's a shift going on. There's more important things I feel people should really care about, whether you should care about in the world, like, terrorism and like that, and healthcare, poverty, rather than who we love. You know what I mean? Like, that's not anybody else's business. Let us what we want to do,
Mm-hmm.
So.
I mean, what do you think is going to happen with Prop A with Supreme Court? Do you think they're going to, like, pass by it, or do you think they're going to actually have, like, a ruling on it?
I think there's going to be stipulations. So I don't think that it's going to be married. They're going to word things differently, whatever. Because if you think about all of these Supreme Court justices, they're all older. They're all from a whole different time. So I think a part of me thinks that it could pass, but with or they can just throw it out the window. But it would be ridiculous for them to do that because there's so many people behind it. It would cause so much hell. I'm thinking they didn't pass it because so many people would be angry, and it's just, I mean, it's a worldwide issue. It's not a California issue anymore. This is a United States, so it's a worldwide issue. And I mean, other countries are jumping forward in legalizing gay marriage. Why can't we, as Americans, just legalize gay marriage and let's hear what really matters, which is health care. The fact that there are children out there right now starving because they don't have anything to eat until they go to school Monday. There are people who are sick, who are AIDS patients who can't get their medicine because they can't afford it. People who are out of work, don't have, the lights on or whatever. Let's worry about that, and who cares? I mean, let us love. Let everybody love. Come on now. I mean, just the benefits of gay marriage, the tax benefits. I mean, there's just so much more benefits than there is not passing it. So,
why would they not want to experience like the same exact documentations and everything that straight people do?
Exactly. With the whole civil unionship thing, civil unions, has like there's still stipulations. It's not, you're not married. You know what I mean? It's not the equal rights that other people can have. So it's not fair. And again, it goes back to like religion, biblical times and stuff, and well, it's this and this in the Bible, but it doesn't really, I don't know. I mean, I guess we could take this as a big religious discussion as well, but I just think that, certain people are set in their ways, and they're like, well, yeah, gay marriage is God, and whatever. That was back then. There's been a shift going on. It's okay to be gay now, where in the 80s it wasn't, where, way back in the 80s, you had to hide it. It's okay to be gay. If you were walking down the street holding hands with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, people would throw you. I mean, it's like that now, but it's a lot better, in my opinion, in my experience. It's a lot better than it was in the 70s, back in the 80s, where you had to hide it, where you had to stay in the closet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better than...
Are either of you religious? I mean, you're bringing up the idea of religion. Does that have any effect on your outlook of gay rights?
I'm not quote-unquote religious, but I am Christian. I do have a strong faith. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys now if I didn't have my faith. So I strongly, a huge faith in God. And I strongly, since I was a little child, believed in all my heart, love is love, and to love one another, and to not judge. I mean, that's what I saw as a youth. It was okay for me to see two men holding hands and kissing, and two women holding hands and kissing. It's okay because that's love, and that wants us to all experience. God wants us to be happy. God doesn't want us to live in misery and live hiding who we truly are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Jewish and I'm not religious, but I went on a trip, and with a gay birthright trip, by the way.
Wow.
Which is kind of rare, but really good that we have this, because now there's that niche that people can go to when they don't feel uncomfortable on like a straight trip, where like everybody's like forced to go to these like particular places where women have to decide and men have to be on the other, and it's not as secular, it's more unified. So it was a really, really good experience.
Right, that's interesting.
Highly recommend it, by the way.
Yeah, I was actually scheduled to go on Birthright in May, but unfortunately I have some stuff to do for Vonvo here, and I'll have to push my trip back. But I was pretty excited for that. And I know Max has gone on Birthright before.
I've never heard of it. I'd love to look into it.
Yeah, if you have any Jewish ancestors, you could totally hop on board.
Wow, I'm not to seriously look into it because I'm not sure. I've been to Israel and I absolutely loved it and loved money to go again. It was just an amazing experience. It's like a pilgrimage back in my youth. But again, I'm not like Catholic, or I was brought up Episcopal, which I think also has formed, my vision of the world, because Episcopalians, I mean, we have gay bishops, gay priests, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing to go to church and see two married holding hands. It seriously is a great thing to go to church and see two men with their arms around each other. And I live down south. You do that down here, oh my goodness, they'll throw a Bible at you. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I'm from the north. I'm from Massachusetts. You guys are in New York, and my heart's like singing, "Oh, I want to be there now."
Yeah. So, what do you think about?
It's different.
What do you think about people who use religion as a reason for why gay people shouldn't be able to be together or be married?
Oh. It's a small town called Fall River. I don't think you guys have heard it, but as we talk about, fortunately, what happened in Boston, it's about an hour away from Boston where the marathon and stuff, but it's a small town. It's called Fall River, and I love it, and I do miss Boston dearly. In my heart, one of my dreams is where I can actually make it work. But I went to a Baptist church down here months ago. I didn't actually know it was Baptist, and they did just that. They used religion. This pastor should be ashamed of himself. He was like, they call gay people, they put gay men on TV and they call them funny boys, and that's just to make fun of them. Excuse me? And if you're gay, you have no business being on this planet. And the Bible says, and he was just ripping out Bible verses. And I've been to several churches like that. Been to a Church of God that said the same thing. And I've got two really people in my life. And I was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, you two are going to hell because this. And it was like, dang, it was weird. So I think that if you're a pastor or you hold any position in a church and you use religion against people who are gay, you shouldn't even be up on that altar or on that pulpit or preaching to the masses, because gay people ain't going nowhere. So deal with it. You know what I mean? And if you're a follower of God, then you're going to love everyone what? Because you see their soul. You don't see who they love. You don't see what they're wearing. You see their soul.
Yeah, there's definitely a documentary called So the Bible Tells Me So.
Okay.
There's this part where they were explaining how in the Bible, how it says, if a man lies with an abomination, but in the context that they had used it at that time, abomination didn't mean hell. It actually just meant that it was unnatural for the time period. Now, since we're in a time period where gay is obviously natural, abomination is no longer relevant.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah. I mean, there's several...
Go ahead, sorry.
There are several in the Bible, and I don't have it with me, but there are several points in the Bible that do talk about homosexuality, and forgive me, but I don't know what those verses are. I guess we could look them up. But I think there's only a few, and it isn't that there's anything wrong with it. And I don't know enough to speak about that, but I do know that it does not say, if you do this, you're going to hell, the way I experience God and God's love, I don't see it as such. I don't see that thing that God, if you love someone of your same gender, that, you're going to hell. I don't, that if you're born a man and decide, and really feel that you're actually supposed to go through that change and actually become transgender, that there's anything wrong with you. But yet, society, people from my generation up to thinking oh, well, there's something wrong. It's unnatural. It's unnatural to be gay. It's natural where if you're a girl, you need to dress like a girl. You need to sit like a lady. If you're a man, you have to get muscles in place. I mean, if you don't do that, it's unnatural, and that's just not okay.
Yeah, we have a real problem in our society trying to specifically genderize everybody. They don't even consider other genders. They just consider male, female. If you got a penis, you're a male. If you have a vagina, you're a girl. And it's so backwards because it messes people up so much. That so many social problems because of the genderization of people.
So how do we change that?
Absolutely.
How do we change that? How do we get the idea of gender to not be so concrete and have these premeditated ideologies associated with each gender? How do we change that?
I mean, personally, what I would do is I would raise a child to have whatever they wanted to do. I mean, it's really not about sticking to don't wear that. That's what a boy wears, or don't wear that. That's a princess dress. That's what girls wear. That you want to be a princess? Let's stay in the castle. Like you gotta support who they are. You can't try to steer them in a direction because that's just gonna mess them up like no one's business.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had a student, and he was 8 years old, and I'm a firm believer you're born gay. Years old, and he had a dance group at the after-school facility I work in, and his parents wouldn't allow him to do the dance group, and we had a fashion group, and he really wanted to do the dance, really wanted to do the fashion group, and it was like, oh, well, boys don't do the dance group because it's all girls, and boys don't do the fashion, don't sew and talk about clothes because you're a boy, and it was just like, no, I allowed him to come. I was like, no, if you want to dance, you dance. And I think that, I mean, it starts with the parents. Like exposure. The more that people are going to be drawn to and accepting of it, and especially youth. Like, I'm really, really into the Trevor Project. I want to get involved. Like, I want to volunteer with them. Like, I really feel like this is something I can do. And the Trevor Project, good, because it helps gay and lesbian and transgender, bisexual, and questioning youth find their way, because it's still hard to be gay and be a kid, especially when you visit 8, 9, 10 years old that you are, when you start developing puberty and you realize I'm attracted to my own sex, what's going on here? And then it's like, well, my parents aren't going to be accepted, and then just suicides and stuff like that, and that's not okay.
So
we really need to focus on being youth.
Right. And so how does something like the Trevor Project actually go about accomplishing that?
Oh my gosh, you have to, everybody who's listening, watching, have to go to the trevorproject.org. It was a documentary film about, youth, a gay male, and realized that he was attracted to men or boys, the struggles that ensued with that. What the Trevor Project does is it has support systems, either center, it has an online therapist or just other people that you can talk to, either online or on the phone, just support, because I think that youth feel so alone. Mm-hmm. And just to be there for them, and you're not alone, and everything is to be able to focus on the positive, is a real good support system for gay and lesbian youth. And I like it, and I like what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely the Trevor Project is a station to go to, and there are ton of other ones too that help out. Unfortunately, the names, but I mean, the No Hate campaign, anything along those lines, basically. Human rights campaign, anything. I mean, there's so many groups that are popping up left and right that can help with gay youth and anything and everything in between. Very, very useful and valuable to go to those groups and help support.
Mm-hmm. Starts with the youth. It starts with the youth, and it starts with the parents, especially if your child discovers that they are gay. There's a lot of parents, again, brought up from the 60s, 70s, who it's been ingrained in them through religion or through their parents that it's not okay to be gay. It's okay, you have a gay child. A lot of parents, well, we can't talk about that. Well, no, you're not. This is just a phase you're going through. And then the child goes up thinking they're bad or wrong because of who they are. They're not accepting of themselves because they don't have any models of people at home accepting of them. They feel alone, and then that's where suicide rates comes in. That's where these kids they don't know what to way, and they get into dangerous situations and stuff. That's why I truly believe it starts with the youth. Because a lot of people, they come out as they're older, focus on gay marriage and stuff, and that's wonderful. But let's really focus on the youth. It's like the gay marriage is like the light at the end of but let's focus on the youth and let them know it's okay so they can play gay person.
Yeah, I mean, the youth, they have, like, their season is probably around, like, 7 or 8 years old, and when we're 9 in New York State, where I was, around in the Oceanside School District, we had to start sex ed when we were 9. So at that point, it's extremely confusing when you're growing up, and you know that you're transgender, and they're telling you that, oh no, that you need to be with a female because that's how evolution works, and you need to procreate, and this is what you're feeling, and this is what you need to do, and it's very actually counterproductive.
So do you think those classes need to be removed, or do you think the subject material needs to be altered?
Oh, definitely altered. It doesn't have to be removed.
Altered.
I mean, yeah. I mean, without sex.
But then it just depends.
Yeah, it does. It does depend.
And then what part of the world you're in, because teach abstinence. So it's like, you don't even like sex. What? You can't have sex. No, it's abstinence until you graduate, like, college when you're 50. Like, it's abstinence. Like, so they don't even teach condom use, safe sex, anything like that. It's basically down the south from my experience in the schools that I've been in and worked. They teach and support abstinence. So it's like, okay, even if you are gay, it's like, well, ain't nobody telling you how to do it, how to be gay. And that's another thing you need to focus on the youth and teach them how to be gay. So you don't get yourself into unsafe situations and stuff like that. It's true. That's why I like the whole youth mentoring thing.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure whether, because I was 9 at the time, I don't really remember, and they kind of stopped sex ed after probably 14, and I mean, for me, this is almost like 10 years ago. I don't really remember that well, but I don't remember how they encountered rape in that situation and how they covered that, because I mean, I don't actually obviously know, but I'm sure that if they had covered, like, instead of like protection from rape, prevention, like preventing rape, that would be significant for the gay and straight community, like by far, for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, if we can prevent it, things would just be so much more mentally, psychically better. And teaching people not to put themselves into situations where stuff like that can happen. Of course, drug and alcohol use, and just lots of factors play into, rapes, and a lot of things happen because people are so desperate to be wanted, desperate to be loved, and desperate to be accepted. Put yourself in situations. Go to a party where maybe somewhere inside you feel you shouldn't be, but if I go, people like me, and I want people to like me. Or, you go to a club, or even like in gay, straight clubs, whatever. You go to a club, and then it's like you get a couple drinks in you because you want to forget how you're feeling. Feel so bad about how you're feeling. Might as well get a few drinks in me, because once I'm drunk, who cares how I feel? Woo! And then you get, something happens. So, yeah, it goes back to like the center, the core, the just dealing with. It's a lot of psychological things that happen when you are either straight, gay, transgender, bisexual, transgender, whatever. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the youth mentoring is where we need to focus.
Right. So you say youth is really key to the future of gay rights, and that's going to start with the parenting. But that's obviously going to take a lot of time if it's going to stem from the parents and then go instill it into the youth, and then the youth kind of brings up their children to be more accepting. But in the meantime, what can be done on a larger scale where it's not just waiting years and years and years for our generation or the generation after us to be brought up with the idea that gay rights are okay? What can be done in the meantime on a larger basis?
It's already happening. I mean, like last month when you check the news out, and there's so many people that protesting for equality. It's already happening, and the more that people look around and flags and see couples holding hands, and talk to your kids about it. If you're at a store and see two women holding hands or two men or whatever, talk to your kid about it in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? Like, let them know it's okay. It's just like two men, just like a man and a woman. Let them know it's okay. But it's kind of hard when you're brought up thinking it's not okay. You know what I'm saying? So I just think the more we expose people to it, I think the better the world will be.
Yeah, and a lot desensitized towards homophobia will be too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So a large part could be change in the media, perhaps, kind of spreading a more
absolutely
positive message.
Yes.
Are there?
And I think it is, especially with the president, and he made, his second inauguration speech, and he used, that part he talked about equality for all people and our gay and lesbian brothers and sisters and stuff. I think that's a tremendous, leap forward. So the more that stuff like that it's going to be, whether it's of course it starts with our president and influential people in the media. Look at Anderson Cooper. He was so brave enough a couple years ago, I think it was fairly recently, to come out. He's all over. When the bombings happened in Boston, that man was in Boston one day. He took a break. He was in that bombing, took a break, went back to Boston, went to New York. That man is incredible, and he's gay. Mm-hmm. He's Superman.
I love Andy Cooper. He's awesome.
Me too. Oh my gosh, he's awesome. Mm-hmm. Ellen is another one that's amazing, and she's gay and happy and in love, and she puts pictures out there of her and Portia, and Ellen is a beautiful human being. The more, oh my gosh, Neil Patrick Harris and his husband, and we can go on, but the more that it's celebrated out there, the more that especially youth can have their icon gay. That's why I know you guys did a previous session about gay rights like that. I think that's great because there's so many of my students who worship and idolize sports stars, celebrities, rappers, singers, stuff like that. But if we can have more Adam Lamberts and all of, I love Adam Lambert. Obsessed with Adam. I love Adam Lambert. And if we can have other teenagers that can still have that, I'm obsessed with Adam Lambert, it's going to give them something to look up to. And to be like, hey, I'm okay. Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga. Love her. Cher was like that for me. Still is. Love Cher. So, yeah, we just need those people who are in those positions to be role models, to let other people know it's okay. And the more that we have that, I think the better it's going to be.
Yeah, Frank Ocean in the rap community. The rap community is infamous for being a homophobic and having extremely homophobic lyrics. And for Frank Ocean to get out there, just make his music, him to win Grammys is huge. Mm-hmm. Because it's someone that up to, and two, someone who can completely revamp the way that rap is perceived now. Because now it's not about degrading women or hurting gay people or anything negative. Now to be a positive, influential thing.
Yes, especially in the rap world. I definitely agree with you there. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, gotta build on the pause. Screw everybody who's like, oh, yeah, gay is it's just a sin to be gay. No, we gotta focus on the positive, because if you keep feeding negative stuff to our kids, to our youth, that's what they're gonna absorb. Keep idolizing the people who do make those disgusting lyrics and who do talk negative about. You keep idolizing them. That's who our kids are going to absorb. So yeah, like Lady Gaga, like Adam Lambert or Adam Levine, who is an awesome ally. He's on The Voice, amazing. He's gorgeous. Like those are the types of people that we need. People like us, and doing what we're doing. This is a public service. This is a great service to a lot of people, and as this thing grows, it's going to be an amazing thing. So what we're doing, we're helping. We're doing an amazing service to a lot of people, even by doing this discussion right here and now.
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of help is going to dramatically shift the way that everyone views gay people, straight people,
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And transgender. I mean, I was on 2 weeks ago with a lady named Amy, and she's an incredible human, so intelligent, and she's so into the politics of gay rights. It's amazing to talk. It was like blown away, and a lot of it was over my head, but it was just really cool to sit and listen to her. And she's trans, she's male to female, and I've got someone in my life who is also male to female, transgender, and I think that that's also something that we need to, I guess, deal with, whatever, in society. There's so, like, that's a whole other ball game, like, being gay or straight, okay, like, people are latching on to it, but transgenderism, what? Because then it's like you're a freak. Like, you just want attention, you just want to dress up in women's clothes, you just want to dress up in men's clothes, you're a freak, but it's not like that. So, gay, and I guess it's still part of the whole, gay lesbian culture. It's still part of the family, I call it. It's part of the, that's something that we need to put out there as well. It's, if you're transgender, I mean, seriously, people look like you a freak.
So, do you think...
And that needs to change.
What a lot of people don't know... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What were you saying? Oh, what a lot of people don't actually understand is the difference between transvestitism and transgender. Because, I mean, anybody wears the opposite sex clothing. That's just, like, hard not. Like, that's pretty much said and done. But when you're transgender, like, you're obviously, you feel from a very, very young age, even, you feel that you're in the wrong body and that you weren't supposed to be born into that body. What a lot of people don't understand, like, they think that, oh, it's just a time, blah, 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 blah. No, it's much greater than that. And people should be able to support that and understand the differences between the two.
Right.
Absolutely.
Do you think one has to come before the other? Do you think gay rights must be acknowledged and accepted before transgender, or are they one and the same? Do you think they'll come at the same time?
I guess it just, it depends.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, you gotta start with the topic, and you can start with, I think gay rights basic, and then transgender is a more advanced type of education. So when you start, you have to start at the lowest level and then expand. Because as we know, the queer community is a gigantic rainbow umbrella. So you have to wear, and you have to start from like the smaller point, and then just kind of build up from there. That's my opinion.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a shift going on. I mean, we still have a lot to do. And there's just so many. I mean, it's just such a broad little rainbow umbrella. But the more that we get out there, live out loud, the more we are able to live out loud, seriously, and get people talking about it and get people accepting about it, I think that things will change for the better. I really do. I mean, it already has.
Right. And I mean, I'm not too familiar with the transgender culture, but has medical professionals become more accepting of individuals that are transgender? Are they willing to help them out more and so on?
They should. And I think that it just depends on where you go. You know what I mean? Like, it just, there, if you Google under, doctors who specialize in those types of surgeries, it's more common. So I'm sure there are a lot of doctors for religious reasons and for whatever other reasons won't. But I think more than ever, that like now it's more prominent than it was 10 or 20 years ago. And MTV has done several of their True Life series, their documentary series called True Life. They've done several shows on, transgenderism, where, male to female, female to male, and they've actually interviewed and stuff like that. So I think it's more pertinent now than it was when I was younger.
Another actual problem about doctors with genders is the whole gender identity order in the DSM-4. And even though, like, moving it and calling it something else, it's just the fact that it has to be considered a mental disorder as opposed to an actual, like, life. And how, like, how they are, then it's a disconnect because it kind of almost pokes the fact that these people are, like, actually they are normal, and it's actually you who aren't.
Well, I remember being told, I spoke to some who, like, back from the 50s or whatever, 50s and 60s, they would be sent to a mental institution because they were gay. Because, yeah, no, you're not gay. It's just something going on. There's some stairs, So they would actually be sent to counseling to seriously, some would be institutionalized because they're gay. Because it wasn't thought of as something born with. It was just, there's just, maybe if we hypnotize you a little bit, or maybe if we give you a couple pills, or run around and stir hop on one feet, you'll be straight again. Oh yeah, you just haven't met the right one. You just haven't met the right man. You hadn't met the right female. You hadn't met crazy. But we'll just, we'll take you to some strip clubs, whatever, and you'll be fine.
Like in that episode of this version of Shameless, where one of them caught having sex with his boyfriend, and his father comes home, and he's like really like wrong, like crazy, very I guess socially conservative, and he like points out at his boyfriend and says, "I want you to like I'm sorry for using profanity, but he said basically like I want you I want you to screw the gay out of him." And so, and his boyfriend had to watch. So it was a very like intense, like, and very uncomfortable situation.
Right now, I've actually
like still think that way.
yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I actually saw that episode of Shameless. I'm an avid Shameless watcher. I like the series. Do you think? What's your standpoint on those kind of episodes where Hank? I believe the dad's name was Hank. Is or Frank? Sorry, Frank is he's pro-gay for a little bit, and then you see the whole religion side, and then you see that scene you were just talking about. Do you think that these kind of scenes and shows are beneficial, or are they more hurtful to the gay rights movement?
Well, they definitely help because they point out the extreme wrongs that people do to satisfy their selfishness. So, in that instance where Frankly goes on his little rant about how, like, I'm gay, even though he obviously isn't. I mean, that is damaging, of course, because That's not completely unrealistic in a sense, but Mike is the type of character who just does what he has to do to survive. So
Mm-hmm.
in that case, it was obviously very disrespectful. But I mean, there are a lot of others like um, one of the characters, Dean, comes out and says to his sister, I'm gay, and she goes, I know, like it's not a big deal, and that's a really good thing because it shows that you have to have like a conversation that like we accept you because we love you, you're not family.
Right.
I love that. I think more that needs to, like, just the whole we love to you because you're our family. That needs to be put out there in the world more. Writers of TV shows, plays, and stuff like that need to do more of that because that's really cool, and they need, especially the kids who don't hear that at home. At least you put that in their consciousness. It's something to strive, and that's where the support groups come in and stuff like that. But I like that. I'm not familiar with the show. I'll have to look it up.
It's really good.
Yeah,
I'll have to look it up.
It's a pretty funny show. I keep my opinion out of things on here on Vonvo, but it's a funny show.
Okay. What channel does it come on?
Showtime.
Okay.
So, guys, I'm actually going to step out, and
Check it out.
I really appreciate your opinions and answering some of my questions. So feel free to continue your conversation if you'd like, but I'm going to step out, and I appreciate it.
Yay! Okay.
So
yeah, bye, Alec.
So thanks for coming on. Feel free to continue your conversation, and obviously tweet it at us if you want to come back again. And I hope you enjoyed it for your second times.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Thank you.